The highlight of our homeschool year this last 2 years has been our nature group. In this video, I'm going to share how to get one started in your area and what we did to help keep it going throughout the year. Hi, I'm Cherrick and welcome to my channel. On this channel, I do videos about Charlotte Mason homeschooling, nature study, and family life. So we're just going to look at 4 things that you can do to really get a healthy, vibrant nature group going in your area. So the first thing is friends. Then you need to figure out your location. Then you need to look at what your format is going to be. And then you want to consider the enrichment and kind of outside resources you're going to bring in that year. Let's get started. So the first thing that you want to look at is your friends. Who has God put in your life who maybe they are really, really busy, but you could ask them if they would be interested. So I think this is probably the biggest barrier that folks have, is feeling like everybody's got so much other stuff going on and probably don't really have time for this. But what I'm finding is that if you plan something and then invite people, you will find your tribe. You will find the people who God has put around you actually would love and be nourished by that as well. Some places to look for friends are at your church, at online homeschool forums for specifically either Charlotte Mason or the homeschool flavor that you kind of subscribe to. So once you have at least one friend, because that is really all you need to get started, then you need to figure out your location, and you want it to be a place that you can go back to each week and that you can get in a habit of going to on a regular basis, and maybe it's just twice a month. Now, the reason you want to stick to one location as your kind of anchoring spot is because it makes it easier to be consistent, because you don't have to hurt your brain trying to figure out how to get to a new location. And what we've found is that it's wonderful to watch the same stream, the same trees, the same landscape develop over the course of a year. So you're really able to develop a relationship with your area, with the place that God has placed you to live and thrive. And as you start to learn the names of things, what I have found is it helps me to guide others to love where we live as well, and also to introduce others to God's creation. All right, so let's talk about format. It needs to be the same time and the same day, and I'm saying the same location each week. And then with your format, you want to have the same liturgy, the same flow each time that you meet. So what we did in our nature group is we would meet and all gather up once everyone was there, and then we would read a poem. And I set it up so that different families would read a poem or pick a poem out and read that aloud. And some kids would even do their recitation at that time. So that was really fun. And then we would sing a hymn that was about creation, because I felt like every time I went to this place, I just wanted to sing praises to the Lord for how beautiful the place was or is, and that we got to be there together, right? So that's just a fun opportunity. Now, you could pick one hymn to learn or a different hymn to do each month. Those are just some ideas. So we started with those 2 things, and that really seemed to anchor us well. And then we would move into our lesson. Now, sometimes we would do a lesson and then we would journal right there and go for our hike. And sometimes we would do our hike first and do the lesson on the hike and then journal there. I think things went smoother when we did our lesson first and journaled right away. So that's kind of looking at an object lesson or something that you can go and look at that is near the cars. But sometimes that doesn't really work. So I would say maybe if you've met a couple times and did the object lesson right away and did your nature journaling, while you're there and kind of have everybody together. Then maybe the third or fourth time you can go on your hike and do your lesson there, because that's a little bit more expanding and contracting, right? It's a little bit more work. And the other thing I will say is we kept it and really encouraged parents to only have journals for kids 6 and older. And then we had some other special exploration that one of the moms would do with the younger kids. And what this allowed was, one, for the younger kids to do things age appropriate. And another, we kind of split the kids off by group. We had like 30 or 40 kids at some times. So we really had to split them up by age and gender. And that allowed one mom or two moms to coach those children at their developmental levels. Okay, so the last thing you can consider as you're trying to get a nature group going is, what resources does your area have as far as foresters, other naturalists? A lot of times there are facilities or nature centers that have all of these people who are so knowledgeable about your area and they're just passionate about it. So we found that in our area, and we ended up scheduling 3 or 4 just lesson times that we were paying a person. We all kind of went in together and paid a person to come and teach our group about something. One time it was native animals. Another time we learned about the topography and geology of our area. He just took us on a hike and kind of showed us about the sinkholes on that property and just some different things about the rocks. It was really fun. Another time we had a person teach us how to spot signs of animals. We saw a place where a deer had been rubbing its antlers, a place where deer had been walking over a log. It was really fun. And then we've also had another naturalist come out, and she has taught us about lichen and moss and wildflowers. Right? So that's a lot of really, really knowledgeable people who can help just teach us what they know. And what I've found is people love to share what they're passionate about and their knowledge with us if, we just ask. Let's just review. So you're finding your friends and you're really just looking around and seeing who God has put in your life. Is it from church? Is it online that you can pull people that are geographically close to you? And we really want to be, right, this is for in-person nature group. The next thing is you need to determine your location. And I'm really recommending going back to the same place over and over throughout the course of the year. And then we did do field trips to different locations, but we really had that one place that anchored us. Then you want to look at your format. How are you starting off your group? What's the order that you're going to do things? Who is going to be teaching the main lesson? Often I would send out an email and ask mothers to, hey, I need help with the older boys, or hey, I need someone to just be in charge of what the little girls are going to do this time, right? So we just had to get the parental buy-in. And I'll say one more thing about that. When I sent out my invitation to join my nature group at the beginning of the year, I laid out my expectations. I said, this is what you're signing up for. Moms are going to participate. It's not for dropping off and it's not for chatting with your friends. So just often, we all get together and we want to hang out and chat, of course. But I really wanted this group to be a time for learning. And then after the hike, and I didn't say this earlier, after the hike or after our journaling time, if we've hiked out to some place, we have about an hour of fellowship. We're eating lunch. Everybody brings a picnic. We eat lunch. The kids get to run around and free play together. So we really just have about an hour of structure and an hour of socializing and free play. So you really want to figure out what your format is, and you want to make sure that you communicate that, before people sign up. And then finally, after you have those 3 things set up, you want to look at who can you pull in, what enrichment opportunities are there, and if you can't find anyone, Find a good book. I will say, here it is, that the Handbook of Nature Study is a really great place to start. Well, that's all I have for today. Thanks so much for watching, and please let me know if you get a nature group started this year. See you next time.